In this video, you're going to learn 5 ways that self-talk increases your performance as an athlete. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Self-talk refers to how you think and how you speak to yourself. As an athlete, the reason that self-talk is so important is because the way that you think and the way that you speak to yourself, that's going to influence the way that you feel. And so as we think about how self-talk is going to increase your performance, we're really going to focus on emotions. We're going to focus on how it leads to you feeling a certain way. So benefit number 1 is that self-talk is going to increase your confidence. The way we use self-talk to increase your confidence is by really focusing on what would you need to say to yourself to feel more confident. Because if you're saying things like, I suck, I can't do that, I don't know if I can play against them, man, the opponent looks really, really good today. When you say things like that, that's negatively impacting your confidence. What you want to do is make sure that the way that you're thinking is positively impacting your confidence. And this can happen by saying, I believe in myself. I am confident. My training is going to pay off. I know that I'm a great player. I've got this. The sentences can be simple, and really the simpler, the better when it comes to self-talk, with all of these ways that we're going to talk about. To make the most of having self-talk increase your confidence, I recommend you make a list right now of all the things you say to yourself, or all the thoughts you have, that work against your confidence. And then what you can do is create a list of alternatives. And these alternatives are going to be phrases that you want to say to yourself to boost your confidence. Then all you can do is repeat those phrases to yourself every day. And as you repeat them every day, they're going to become more natural for you to think. Then during practices and games, when you're wanting to feel more confident, just repeat your self-talk phrases. Number 2 is that self-talk is going to increase your focus. Now, how can self-talk increase your focus? Well, when you're losing focus, it's not necessarily that you're losing focus. What's happening is you're focusing on something you don't want to be focused on. So let's say you're playing a game and you notice that you're not focused on what you want to be focused on because you're focused on the outcome. So you're thinking about how much I don't want to miss this shot, how much I don't want to get out, right? You're thinking about what's going to happen. The way self-talk can increase your focus is by saying, stop, let it go, let's focus on the present moment. Whatever you're thinking about, that's where your focus is going to be placed. So if you can think more in the present moment, if you can think more about, this is what I want to be doing right now, that's going to then lead to greater focus for yourself. Now, one of the best ways that you as an athlete can use self-talk to increase your focus is by creating a thought-stopping phrase. A thought-stopping phrase is a phrase that you've memorized that you can say to yourself whenever you begin to lose focus. It needs to be very simple. For example, you could say, stop, let it go, refocus. All you're doing is you're using your thoughts to remind yourself that I want to let go of whatever I'm focusing on right now and bring my attention back into this present moment. Number 3 is that self-talk can help you with your training. Now, the way that self-talk can help you with your training comes in 2 ways. Number 1 is that when you're actually training, you can use self-talk kind of like a coach to guide yourself through what you're doing. This can happen whenever you're dealing with a very tough workout. Maybe you're wanting to give up and you say, no, I've got this. Come on, let's stick with it. Let's go. And you begin to talk to yourself like that. But another way is, let's say that you're a baseball player and you're hitting off the tee. You can tell yourself and you can remind yourself to keep my hands back, stay inside the ball, right? Those kinds of coaching cues can really help you during training. Now, this can then be translated to games because if you come up with a specific cue that you say to yourself, so going back to the baseball example, when you're hitting off the tee, you tell yourself to keep your hands back, stay inside the ball. So maybe when you're going up to bat, you just keep reminding yourself, stay inside the ball, stay inside the ball, stay inside the ball. And what that does is it reminds you, okay, that's what I want to do, and it brings your mind back to what you did during training in hopes that, okay, that's what I want to then replicate this time at bat. Another example is if you're a basketball player and you keep telling yourself, elbow above my head whenever you're taking jump shots or you're working on your free throws. So then during a game, that's what you keep reminding yourself. So you can use self-talk as a way to coach yourself through training, but then you can also come up with cues that you're then going to take and translate into games that help you to really remember, okay, this mechanically is what I want to be doing during the game. Another way that self-talk can increase your athletic performance is by increasing your motivation. Your motivation is really going to be all about, what are you thinking about? If you're thinking that, hey, let's go, I've got this. If you're feeling more confident, then you're going to be experiencing more motivation. If after a bad game or after a mistake in a game or in practice, if you beat yourself up, that's probably going to lower your motivation. But if in that specific moment or after the game and moving into practices going forward, you're speaking up to yourself, you're using your self-talk to drive motivation, then you're going to have more desire to train. You're going to want to get back out there. You're going to want to get back onto your feet. So focusing on your self-talk can really help with your motivation. Kind of like what I said with training, if you're struggling with a really tough workout or really tough practice, you can use that same kind of concept when it comes to increasing your motivation. If you're feeling like you're struggling with motivation, you have to look no farther than the thoughts in your head. And just begin speaking to yourself and thinking in a more motivating way, and that's going to increase your motivation. And then number 5 is that self-talk is going to reduce your stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety are some of the main things that reduce athletic performance. If you're going into a game feeling so much anxiety, to the point where all you can think about is what's going to happen, you're going to be playing a little bit tight. You're going to hold yourself back because you're afraid to make mistakes. So you're not going to be performing freely. Likewise, if you're in a stressful situation, and when I say stressful situation within sports, a lot of times this is going to look like a pressure-filled situation. If you're in that type of moment, just like if you're going into a game or during a game when you're feeling anxiety, if you can speak to yourself in a calming way, that's going to help you reduce the anxiety and the stress that you feel in that moment. To really help with this one, what you can do is come up with a few statements that you can say to yourself that you know will really help calm yourself down. It can be as simple as, I am calm. Just take a breath. It's going to be okay. When you speak to yourself in a more calming way, that's going to reduce your anxiety and that's going to reduce your stress. A lot of times when you're dealing with anxiety, your self-talk is going to look like this. Why am I anxious? I don't want to be anxious. Man, I can't be feeling this way because whenever I feel this way, I know I don't perform well. And when you start to think like that, that's going to drive more anxiety. What you have to do is take your attention off of the anxiety, and you can do that by creating your own self-talk routine that's going to be really targeted towards calming yourself down in that moment, but then also increasing your confidence. So you can also use some of the self-talk you created to boost your confidence. So those are the 5 ways that self-talk can increase your performance as an athlete. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about one-on-one mental performance coaching, head over to successstartswithin.com.